and welcome to Sinomania from the Great Wall of China at Sinomania. Chinese markets feel the burn as China's economy continues to sizzle. Will they smolder or burn up? New IPOs. Chinese companies continue to strike while the iron is hot and raise money increasingly in domestic markets. And a look at pollution in China. China's leaders say the environment is a top priority. Let's hope they're serious. China's economic boom shows no sign of slowing, confounding economists and politicians inside and out of the country. First quarter macro data shows the national economy surging at over 11%, with industrial output up 18.3% overall. Some sectors, such as mining and metals, are up 30 to over 50% with a similar rise in profits. Property prices are up almost 6%, and most troubling for economists and government ministries trying to rein in China's investment spending, new factory and real estate investment is up over 25%, with only the tiniest hint of a slowdown. But the biggest concern is on inflation, which is rising faster than predicted, with food prices up 4% overall. Inflation risk is China's biggest worry, and prices like these give the impression that the Chinese economy is overheating. Many analysts and investors believe that the government may respond the old-fashioned way by intervening directly in markets through financial controls such as upping interest rates and allowing China's currency to appreciate more than planned. In fact, rumor is that yuan may rise 9% before the end of the year. Talk of higher interest rates and currency flux are enough to rattle any stock market, and so today Chinese markets slipped and fell just under 5% across all boards. The Shanghai Composite Index closed April 19 at 3,449.02, taking it back to April 10 levels and wiping out a week's gain. Still, Chinese markets remain well ahead for the year. New issues continue to keep Chinese equity markets and businesses busy. On the domestic exchanges, Guotai Junan Securities, one of China's top 3 brokerages, announced a Shanghai A-share IPO later this year. How this will impact a possible merger with smaller rival Shanghai Securities is unknown. China Mobile is still on for a domestic IPO in Shanghai, perhaps in the second half of the year. We'll keep an eye on that one, as it could be very big. The Bank of Communications, the 5th largest bank in China, already traded on the Hong Kong exchange, will list A-shares on Shanghai, price details to be revealed next week. The A-shares will be open to institutional investors but not individual foreign investors next week. Financial giant Hong Kong and Shanghai Banking Corp, now headquartered in London, controls just under 20% of the bank. And Acorn International, a Shanghai-based marketing firm that owns a TV home shopping network, will premiere on the New York Stock Exchange soon, trading under symbol ATV. Acorn's IPO will be around 7 million American depository shares, priced in the $12.50 to $14.50 US dollar range. Private equity firm SAIF Partners will take slightly more than a 25% stake. In little more than a decade, China will become the world's #1 emitter of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, replacing the current emissions champion, the USA. Beijing aims to reduce CO2 emissions, but only in conjunction with economic growth, a strategy it shares with the administration of President George W. Bush. China is planning long-term goals to address its emissions and air quality problems, but nothing is yet in place, and all indications are that China expects major exceptions to allow for unbridled industrialization and urban growth. Next week, details may be revealed when a national plan on climate change is supposed to be released. As with the White House, Beijing scientists are skeptical of the impact of humans on climate change. Skepticism shared with Russian scientists as well. All 3 national governments are currently dominated by powerful energy interests and compete for the world's dwindling energy resources. China hedges its future energy needs by continuing to rely on coal, which China has in abundance. Just last week, a new coal mine in far north Manchuria in Heilongjiang province proved reserves of 390 million tons of coal. But the impact of coal-fired plants and coal burning in China's densely populated agricultural areas, as well as its cities, is apparent in the terrible air quality throughout China. The image before this segment was the sunrise I saw each morning from my place in Xi'an. The river valley where Xi'an sits has been home to Chinese for over 6,000 years and is a cradle of Chinese civilization. The region is suffering from a prolonged drought. Chinese scientists in Xi'an just determined that air particles caused by pollution is causing a decrease in precipitation on the Qin Mountains that enclose the great river valleys here, and it is causing the climate to change. Daytime temperatures were approaching summer conditions by the time I left. China says it is ready to get serious on air pollution. All I can say is, Godspeed.
This is the air.